So let's get going.
I think, yeah.
Thank you everybody for joining, and good morning. Thank you very much, Andrea and Alexandra, for inviting us and for organizing this session today. My colleague Martin and I, we will be talking about AI-powered language technologies and how these technologies can help you to thrive in multilingual world. And indeed, we work in a very multilingual world these days. There are over 7,000 languages spoken worldwide. And on a daily basis, we work with clients and partners who are based in different countries and speak different languages. Equally important is that we collaborate with different teams internally who are also based in different parts of the world, where again, we see that people speak different languages, and it all creates language barriers and slows down the business. In particular, in business services, it means you work with different markets, you provide customer support in the language of the customer. It also means that you have high demand for qualified resources, and the challenge is that it's limited. So availability is limited, and there is also high cost attached to it. Equally important is internal communication across the markets and teams you work with. And of course, also constant challenges, the pressure to keep increasing operational efficiencies and service quality. And to address these challenges, Tilde has been developing language technologies for 30 years now. So we are working in areas such as voice technologies, machine translation, smart virtual assistants, and of course, since company has been established in 1991, technologies have also changed massively through these decades. So now we use for machine translation latest AI technologies and neural networks, and these technologies, they provide the most accurate and human-like translation. And we are also very proud that we have been recognized internationally as winners of the Machine Translation Olympic Games or World Machine Translation Competition for 3 consecutive years. And our technologies in machine translation provide instant and also secure translation. And I would like to stress secure, because secure translation environment is critical for any business, for any organization we work with. It means that you can surely translate any sensitive, confidential information, documents you work with, because we don't do data business. So we don't collect any data, we don't analyze any data, we don't store. So we have no idea what people are translating when using our technology. So all the information stays with you. Therefore, our strength is in providing secure technologies. Another very important factor is that our technologies are easy to integrate, and they are compatible with many different systems companies use internally to operate. And of course, it's also important to understand that companies have different challenges, different needs. Therefore, we tailor-make our solution for each company. Is it special customized integration, or is it special language combination we need to develop for them? It might also be that we need to customize specific language combination to adapt it for a particular domain. Let's say pharmaceutical company might be interested to have specially developed machine translation engine for pharmaceutical industry, since they use very specific, complex and complicated terminology and language. And on the other side, many other companies use other specific domains. Many use legal domain, where companies need to use a lot of legal texts and documents in their everyday work. Some companies choose to use other specific domains. And we're also very proud that throughout the years we have been able to establish a strong track record in working with different clients, both in public and private sector. In public sector, we work with governments and also have been technology partner for European Commission for a number of years now. And we have been supplying our technologies to the presidency of the Council of the European Union. It's a very long name to remember for governments in Europe who preside every 6 months. And we just finished a very large and complex project with German government. And we also have been very enjoying working with Romanian government back in 2019 when Romania was presiding in the EU. And on the private business side, as you can see, we have a wide range of companies from different industries, starting with technology, industrials, logistics, pharmaceuticals, retail, construction, you just name it really. And they all benefit from our technologies in different ways. They all have different needs. However, they all have few things in common. They benefit from it by optimizing human resources planning, by powering effective cross-lingual communication, and they also can cooperate seamlessly across borders. And I would like to look into business services more closely, and particularly one area to start with, which is customer support, where machine translation and virtual assistants can be combined in a very efficient way and deliver strong value to the operation. And my colleague Martin will a bit later explain in more details about virtual assistants and how these technologies can work in multilingual world as well. But to look at customer service and machine translation in more detail, we have put together a very simplistic workflow for customer service, for customer support, where you have high number of multilingual customers on one side, and you have large number of inquiries coming through in different languages. So frequently asked questions can be answered by intelligent virtual assistants, and Martin will tell you more about it. However, a large number of inquiries, particularly those more complex ones, are being looked into by customer support. These days, you rely on customer support for language knowledge of your team members who are able to serve these multilingual clients. However, it also puts a lot of challenges and limitations as to what clients you can serve and what markets you can work with. Imagine you have machine translation integrated between customer and customer support. So, and I will just give you a random example. Let's say you have a customer who contacts you in Finnish language. So customer support doesn't necessarily maybe speak Finnish and can't answer, but with a click of a button, the message in Finnish can be translated into the language comprehended by customer support, let's say into Romanian. Customer support can react, can take action, and can also get back to the customer in no time. So customer support can also write back the message in Romanian with a click of another button, translate it into Finnish and send it to the client back into in Finnish by communicating with the client in their language. However, cutting out this massive need of being able to speak every single language in-house. So you not only speed up the process of customer support and enable to serve many more clients, but you also make your HR operation so much easier by eliminating this dependency on language skills of your customer support. You can also widen your talent pool by enabling customer support to use language technology tools to overcome language barriers. For example, right now, customer support operations very much rely on younger people who are also savvy in different languages. So, but there are many more people who are 10, 20 or 30 years older, and they are experts in their specific field, maybe accounting, human resources, finance, who could invest their specialist skills, but maybe lack language knowledge, but supporting them with language technologies who replace this need for speaking languages fluently, enables them to join the industry and to support customers. And one of the examples I would like to share with you today is a company in financial services in Nordics and operating across both regions, Nordics and Baltics, and they grow fast, and so grows also demand regarding customer support. And they also see that it's very challenging to find people who speak all these Baltic and Nordic languages, because these are not as widely spoken languages as is German or English or so. So it's a bottleneck, it's a challenge for them. They even recruit people with no or little language skills and send them for intensive training to learn languages. But it's very expensive, it's very time consuming, and it takes a lot of investment before these people can even start delivering. So the challenge is lack of available qualified human resources and optimization of human resources planning. And the solution we came up with is to integrate automated translation technologies into the ticketing system for internal and external communication. And it resulted in increased productivity and efficiency, also eliminating this constant struggle of finding and keeping those people who speak Swedish or Finnish or Estonian. And what was also important for them is security of the solution, because of course financial services is highly regulated area, industry which works with a lot of customer data and confidential information. Hence security was a critical factor for them for their choice. And to also further increase the accuracy of the solution and the automated translation, we customized the machine translation system to suit their specific domain, which is legal and finance, for their specific needs and language used in support. Of course, customer support is one area, but there are many ways of to use machine translation in supporting your customers. So one other way is to integrate machine translation into any website to provide multilingual content. And such a website can be also your client portal, where you provide information for clients. They can go for self-service and find information they need instead of reaching out to customer service, for example. One of the companies I'm now working with in insurance is setting up such a client portal for clients to submit their insurance claims. And of course, they want clients to have very user-friendly solutions. So they provide this portal in different languages instead of just 2 or 3 languages which are widely spoken internationally. So they have loyal customers, and these customers will be very happy to be able to submit those claims in the language of their choice. And I will show you briefly how it works and how it looks when we talk about website translation. I'm sure you can see my screen, my different screen. So I want to show it on the example of our own website. So our website tilde.com is available and managed in English only. So we don't use our marketing resources to administer it in all possible languages. However, we understand that providing multilingual information is critical. So we have introduced machine translation to provide content in 10 plus different languages. And with a click of a button, for example, I can translate it in Arabic. And you see that translation is real time, it's instant, and you can integrate any language which you need in your operation where you need to provide information to the outside, to clients and partners. So this is just one of the examples I wanted to share with you. Another way of using machine translation is to make it part of internal communication, because particularly in business services, internal communication is key, since you work with teams across different countries and need to make sure that internal communication is as efficient as possible, so that you have high level service and continuous high quality. So you can integrate machine translation in intranet to provide internal communication to everyone in the language of their choice, instead of providing it in English, for example, which is of course universal language these days. However, not everybody in, I don't know, France, in Romania, and in Philippines, and wherever speaks the same level of English. And you need to provide internal communication to everyone. Even more important, it is to look at machine translation as part of knowledge management system, because knowledge management system is critical for business services, since you need to provide training to everyone, since you need to provide consistent information on quality assurance, processes, policies, and so on. And again, this can ensure that everybody in the company is equally aware and provides consistent service level independently of where they all are located. On a daily basis, we also communicate with clients, partners, externally, but also internally using emails. We send and write, receive hundreds of emails on a daily basis, and very often they are in different languages. So it's also very easy to translate emails. For example, using Outlook email plugin, you can integrate machine translation into your Outlook emails. And with a click of a button, you can translate the incoming email from one language into the language you want it to be in, and the other way around. You write an email in the language you speak, you press another button to translate and choose which language you want to translate it into, and send it to the other party to receive. So this again enables that two parties can speak with each other, although they speak different languages, but technologies enable them to understand each other and have so much more convenient work in being able to communicate in your own language. And equally important, it is to look at multilingual communication all across company, not only in specific teams and specific areas, but to make sure that everybody is involved and can use those latest technologies and be part of service delivery internally, externally, and collaborate strongly. So for that reason, Tilde has developed machine translation platform, which is again a fully data secure solution, and provides everybody in the company with access to translation of a number of information sources. So everybody can translate texts, and of course language combinations always depend on the choice of the company. You can also translate different documents. All the mostly commonly used office documents can be translated instantly, and most importantly, the formatting of the document will always be preserved. So you have instantly a copy of your document, only in a different language. There are many more very specific document formats you can translate, for example, translation memory files and others, but all the everyday document formats we use are available. And right now we are also completing our work on PDF document development and translation. So we understand that PDF documents are also a big part of everyday documents we work with. So it's important to have a tool which translates PDF documents instantly as well. So it will be available shortly. And one more information source, which these days is becoming more and more important and needs also to be translated, is online content. So very often when I research markets, I read information which is available online. Also when speaking to different clients and partners, I also read their websites. But they are not always available in the language I can understand. Although I speak 4 languages, it's nowhere close to what I need to be able to understand all the information I want to understand out there. So for that reason, I can put the link of the website into the translation platform and translate it with a click of a button from the language of the original language into the language I want it to be in. And I can instantly read the same website in the same format, only in the language I wish. And I can read, analyze, and make decisions so much faster than before. It helps me to speed up my work, my projects, and also, of course, helps me to make informed decisions as well. So we can say that machine translation can help to increase productivity and efficiency in different ways. So on the HR side, it helps to make workforce planning so much easier. It also helps to save on hiring and training, because you don't need to invest the same amount of money by, for example, sending people for several months to study a specific language to be able to join the team, or because your hiring is becoming less complicated, it works easier and faster for you and saves money. And as I mentioned before, it also widens the talent pool which is available for you, because you take away this dependency on language skills and replace it with technology, which supports and complements the skills, the specialist skills people have and can invest into business services operation. And on the operational side, it of course helps to improve communication, internal and external, and also speed up the response time. It increases service quality and also client satisfaction. And last but not least, it helps to automate further processes and increase operational efficiencies as such. And on this note, I will stop here and I will ask my colleague Martin to take over and share his knowledge on smart virtual assistants and how these technologies combined with other technologies Tilde works with can add even more value to your operations.
Oh, thank you, Christine, for a stunning presentation. I hope it was really enjoyable from the attendees as well. I just wanted to remind that we have as well Q&A session in the end of our presentation and monologue. I see that Alex has already addressed the first question, and we're going to discuss all these questions together in the end of the session. So we have time left for that. So no worries, no questions will be missed. So I hope you right now see the screen and my presentation. So I will start about AI and a little bit of that what Christina already said. So why machine translation and AI-powered chatbots? Because you already heard that these solutions can work together really well and make additional value and cover multilingual challenges of customer support in incoming and outgoing communications. But before we dive deep into the solution, let's make just some exercise and imagine a regular situation. For example, your customer logs into your website to check their account information. After a few minutes of searching and reading frequently asked questions, they already are frustrated and pick up the phone. Well, with high confidence, I can say that this switch could, to a live channel, be quite costly, and I think it's completely avoidable. Customer service and support leaders have to identify and remove all such of sources of frustration to simply contain customers in self-service, which in our case is chatbot as a communication channel. Customers are happy to use self-service actually, if their experience doesn't leave them with negative feelings. Well, companies have invested quite heavily in self-service, as you know, but customers still contact live channels. So why it is so? We see that service leaders report 20 to 40% of live volume could easily be resolved using existing self-services. It's a huge number if you think so, right? And the problem is that most organizations design their self-service resources to signal comprehensive support to customers. But often the result is an overwhelming maze of information that doesn't help customer to resolve this issue quite quickly and easily with just a few clicks of the button to send the message and get right answer back. You may ask if that's the main reason. Well, the main reason we think that it's quite complicated, and it includes as well negative emotions who drives this abandonment from the self-service. For example, trying to drive positive emotions, making a customer more engaged in the communication channel has quite little impact. By contrast, the presence of negative emotions like anxiety, frustration, or doubt has a quite huge effect on whether a customer abandons to a live channel or not. And we can relate from our personal experience when we communicate with financial institutes about loans and everything like that. If we if we are quite confident, then we can resolve these issues by ourselves. Well, customers are more likely to remain and resolve in self-service channels when companies reduce these emotions. This makes sense quite logically, as the customer negative emotions are heightened in self-service. Well, there is the difference between phone call and chatbot. This is the point when a customer thinks that no one is holding their hand, assuring them things are fine. So sometimes these emotions can get a bit heightened. So the factors that best predict containment in self-service are clarity, credibility, and confirmation. Each of these factors reinforces customers' confidence in their ability to resolve an issue on their own. Well, they are making progress, have the right information throughout, and ultimately they can resolve their issue by themselves. And the customer confidence, of course, reduces these negative emotions and therefore reduces self-service. If we take a look, what is the price of self-service abandonment, what we see. We can see that the price is pretty high. Live channel cost average almost a little bit under €7 per contact, while the self-service cost is about under 10 euro cents. And well, I don't need to remind or say that it's a huge difference if the customer can resolve all the issues by themselves. And many companies create more channels for customer service, but this indeed creates complex customer resolution journeys. If you imagine as customers switch frequently between these channels, there are a lot of frustrations and challenges behind that. The idea behind providing customers with more channels in order to give them what they want and in an attempt to offer more choices in their service experience sounds like a great idea, but in fact unintentionally made things worse for customers. Well, this approach, more channels and more channels and better communication simply doesn't take all the customer issues away from them, and in the end there is no reduce from live calls, from emails, and even from physical attendances. So that becomes a lose-lose for customer and the companies that are trying to serve them. When the customers can't solve these issues via self-service, they resort to a live customer service calls in order to solve the problem. Well, we know that this costs quite costly for all the companies. Not to say that employees could in that time be taking more serious tasks and challenges in the company. But as the customer behavior in self-service continues to evolve, we are learning that most people have become used to the idea of using more than one channel during this resolution of problem or maybe issue with a given company. But these multiple channels, for example, like phone, chat, text, SMS, online videos, or even review sites, in-store visits, these are a lot of things to deal with. The bad news is that it is definitely forcing a higher cost to serve for companies with no significant increase in the overall quality of the customer service. We see a lot of incoming inquiries, but in the end of the day, customers still want to very quickly and easily resolve their problem, their issue, and their need. Well, in statistical data, we see that customers prefer channel for issue resolution in first place. Of course, is phone, and the second is chat, and leaving behind all the other channels like email, search engines, etc. What is the main point here? This research and data shows that both customer effort and customer satisfaction levels do not statistically differ between channels, and customer loyalty is not affected by use or availability of a preferred channel. It means I can use both or prefer some of the channels, and that means more mature communication channel there will be, the less cost for company and higher satisfaction level for customer. So simply as is it. Yet many service organizations continue to add more and more channels, even though access to these channels does not produce the expected customer experience and a benefits. While there is such a difference between live channel and self-service calls, there are already industries leading AI-powered chatbot adoption to business services. It's nothing new that between SMS and messaging platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, and Messenger, billions of people around the world use some form of messaging to communicate. Is it for private needs? Is it for work? Or is it for solve their issues? That, in a nutshell, has created a huge opportunity for companies to interact with and their customer. Basically, this opportunity takes for a window for companies to interact with these customers through the chatbot that operates through these channels and websites. Because later on, I will in details tell you how these chatbots can operate and interact in the respective channels. So the idea of conducting business via a series of instant messages with an AI bot could seem like it's not a natural fit for every industry, but chatbots actually have quite generally transformative potential. And right now they are offering a more convenient, personalized, instant issue solving experience than the industry can currently offer. So we see that by the sector, the result indicates increase in AI chatbot adoption in every industry the past year, which is a sign that AI adoption is in general is becoming more mainstream. We see that telecom has seen largest increase with 45% of 45% from year 2018, while others have a bit lower, but still pretty close results. And to give you more exact use of AI-powered chatbot, here you see the three main pillars. Before I describe the benefits of chatbot solution, consider that there are different type of chatbots. I think all of you or most of you have already used some and tried or tested them to know this knowledge base of the chatbot. Well, in today's topic, I will divide them just only in two parts. So the first one is rule-based or script chatbots who answer simple questions, or known as Q&A chatbots. But the second, there is AI-powered chatbots who help the users solve particular tasks. AI chatbot is able, for example, to use and connect internal databases, third-party systems, and communicate with the help of the voice as well. So our today's topic is the second part, AI powered chatbots, and why rule-based chatbots no longer satisfy the need of modern business, because especially in terms of personal recommendation and customer engagement, there is just respectively Q&As all prepared in script, and then customer doesn't feel really engaged or able to get to the main issue point. Well, to cover all these three pillars, we have developed a chatbot platform where unlimited amount of knowledge base can be trained to the chatbot. And that's just one of our main features. Our platform and chatbots are able to connect to internal and third-party systems. Well, to give you an example, if the user would like to know the balance of account or submit application for new products or service, maybe all our implemented tools provide availability to authorize and to authenticate the user, give them permissions or access to particular data, as well to exchange with rich media like pictures, videos, and different type of charts. Let's get back to these three main pillars. As you see, those three pillars, they are one of the main reasons why chatbots have succeeded so far. Well, 24/7 accessibility with a combination of multilingual chatbot will not just provide answer outside working hours, but will speak into your customer language. And I think Christina already mentioned that is quite important in our multilingual world. Where a lot of people prefer speak their own language. By meaning, customer just need to type 3 words in preferred language, and the chatbot will automatically switch, for example, from Spanish to English language with no human intervention. And the second one is the deployment in communication channels. It's basically the simplest than ever before. Either you have already a live chat platform or using some live chat or planning to introduce customers with chatbot solution. It basically takes just 2 minutes to copy and paste simple line of code into the web page, Facebook or internal system, and basically solution is ready to use. So connection with omni-channels isn't limited as well. Therefore, with a combination of machine translation, we can quickly localize and the knowledge base and deploy for any needed languages. Of course, there is efficiency about, I have spoken already quite a lot in the very beginning. If we take into account live channel costs per client and compare to self-service chatbot solution, we can actually quite quickly calculate return of investment. And almost 90% of routine tasks can be automated with the help of the chatbot. And right now, even some specific tasks can be solved by integrating solutions with help of API connection, for example. And to be efficient as possible, we have built in our chatbot platform live chat functionality, which provides the feature that customer support agents could overtake conversations from chatbot if there is need, or assigned from the user that this specific question or issue is too complicated and is need for human intervention. or basically the user wants to speak with live agent. So they're both additional value. Of course, one of our competitive advantages that we have developed all these technologies and a lot of different tools in chatbot platform in-house, basically with help of our research and development team. Right now we are able to cover most of the European languages, and not only. Tilde, as one of the leading language technology company, have developed automatic speech recognition and speech synthesis. And if we take a look in this combination with the AI chatbot and machine translation, we are fully able to ultimately reach the goals of even the most complicated and multilingual challenges. It means that in today's topic, AI chatbots is very or synonym to the virtual assistants which is used in the market. Of course, and in the day of the presentation, there is always questions: who are our clients? To answer that and to build a bit of credibility, not just only talk overall the technology and solution, I can say that we have covered starting from the public sector institutions and governments to transportation and logistics, telecom, customer contact centers, and many other. Well, our client portfolio include even whole platform development into the client's infrastructure. And one of them you see right here. In this use case, I can mention our European Space Agency, when we adapt and develop the platform for space research and educational purposes with some few chatbots specifically. Another case is the multilingual chatbot developed for transport and logistics company. And this chatbot is able to communicate with users in 4 languages, providing specific information about parcel and shipment status. And this feature provides very high efficiency because we have integrated internal and third-party systems through API connections. And the chatbot basically provides all information in real time, what is very meaningful. Therefore, is no need for human intervention. And it means I just need to start chat in my preferred language, and it will automatically switch to that and provide me with all the necessary information. The last but not the least is the 2 chatbots, Latvian Central Bank chatbot and the Enterprise Registry of Latvia. Those 2 chatbots daily provide specific information, including application forms and guidances to self-service. These both chatbots cover more than 900 topics and have been daily used not only by customers, which what is interesting, but as well by internal employees to get information in matter of seconds, instead of using frequently asked questions, manuals, or disturbing a colleague about some application forms and so on. Well, with this statistical data from our chatbot platform, we see that chatbots in average is covering 20 to 30% of all incoming inquiries. And by all, I mean phone calls, messages, emails, and physical attendance. So it's quite huge number that chatbot in daily can cover all these routine tasks. To wrap it up and give a takeaway, I will say that to reduce these abandonment, organizations must build or maintain customer confidence through these self-service experience, ultimately avoiding these bad experiences, a lot of channels, a lot of these communication channels, and so on. This is done through simple and clear design and communication that is credible and confirms, of course, the progress, ultimately resolution. So right now, thank you a lot for your time and attention. We will be, with Christina, really glad to connect and share our expertise and experience in more details. And I think it's time for us to bring the questions. Thank you.
So yeah, please send through your questions through chat, through Q&A session on here on Zoom, or just ask, unmute yourself and ask your questions. So Alex sent us through a very interesting question, and I will read it first. And it's a question, I believe, which many of you have, and actually every client has. So the question is, as you probably know, other machine translation platforms are not really usable as it is not human. The language is full of grammar errors. Is that the case in this case, or the translation agency grade? Very good question, Alex, and one which I didn't kind of talk about in very detail. There are several factors to the quality of the translation. One is we use latest technologies to increase accuracy of the translation and make it human-like and fluent translation. So we use AI and neural networks, deep learning technologies to develop these machine translation systems. We don't use statistical systems, rule-based systems, or any other previous generation systems. So the other subject, or other factor which I want to mention is one size doesn't fit all. Therefore, as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, is we customize our solutions for each client individually, because there is no one machine translation engine which can equally well serve every client, because clients have different domains, different language terminologies they use, and so on. So it is about how you develop these systems. So we develop these systems initially with the first few meetings to understand clients' needs. What needs to be translated, what language it is, what is the purpose, what is the content of this information which needs to be translated. So then we go back and talk to our data team. So we have a major data storage which we have collected through decades now. So to develop a machine translation engine, you need millions and millions of data to train neural networks to understand the language. And the more specific you can be in choosing the relevant and right data for the machine translation system, the more accurate the translations will be. So when choosing data, we don't just take all data available for combination language A to language B. We really look into the industry clients' needs and so on, and select out of those trillions, millions, which are most relevant. Then we also use client data, because nothing can be more precise in developing the systems than client data. So client gives us also their data, so we can mix it with our own data and be even more specific in developing those systems. Plus, we also use glossaries and terminology, which is also very specific for each client. And most companies have this information available in-house. Terminology is very specific for each company and each specific industry. And of course, by integrating terminology, you also increase accuracy significantly. And by going through all these steps, we customize these specific machine translation engines to be as accurate as possible for machine to be. So customization is key, and therefore, yeah, we work with each client individually. And of course, each company has also these questions and doubts, and to also convince everybody that this is how we work and this is what it delivers. We not only tell about it, but we can prove it. We also always provide clients with a trial period to familiarize themselves with the solution, to be absolutely sure that this is the solution they see as the right, that is answering all the questions and requirements and is delivering top quality, really. So sorry if it was a long answer, but it can't be answered very short.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Christina. I think it was a great answer. And let's take one question from chat, and then back to the questions and answers. There is as well Hugo has one question as well. So there is one question about, I will just read it loud. Many times live interaction is required via to speak to a customer support officer, but AI-driven IVR leads to dissatisfaction. For example, Bank of America. AI-driven are unable to attend issues facing during online exam protocoling if there are any technical issues. Well, yeah, of course, we cannot speak in the name of all virtual assistants and chatbots, but to say every and each of the chatbot have their own knowledge base and main purpose. So sometimes in their topics, there isn't included some of the technical questions and answers, and there, of course, for some specific issues to resolve is need for human intervention to take over the conversation, and sometimes it's very closely related to user authentication, authorization, or some changes needed in some legal documents or a system overall. But to say that these IVR systems as well work quite similar from virtual assistant or chatbot systems, because on the one point they are using natural language processing. In our case, we use natural language processing and understanding tools, which means that our chatbot is able to tell the intent, to recognize actually the intent of the whole sentence and take it into the account of whole inquiry. So it will not just search for some keywords, but will quite precise, give the necessary answer related to the topic. So I hope that I answered. If not, please just add something. So we have another question from Hugo. I think it's on our both side, actually, Christine.
Go ahead and I will compliment you.
Yeah, okay. So Hugo says that you spoke a lot about chatbots and AI solutions, but would you be able to say something more around live chat translation, success rate, turnaround times, etc.? So basically, yeah, we did spoke a lot because live chat translations isn't right now so common thing. But as I and Christina mentioned, that these technologies come working together, can get additional value to the companies. So basically, what we use. I just now, just a second ago, said that we use NLP, natural language processing and understanding tools, who can detect the languages and the intents of the respective languages. But the second option, of course, always is to use this live chat translations, where then we use machine translation systems to translate the inquiry of the end customer and to make this answer and send back. If we talk in details about success rate, turnaround times, so the success rate is very similar if we take into the account the domain. So basically, where this chatbot and the live chat operates, and how specific are all these topics. But basically, and Christina, you can compliment me, there isn't no need for very specific domain adaptations for machine translation systems to translate live chat sessions with the customers, because usually there is just some one or two specific words that is respective to that domain.
Yeah, indeed, for that, generic systems can be also very suitable, because these chats don't use complex and complicated terminology. Usually, this is usually short sentences, everyday language. So, yeah, it's actually easier than some complex inquiries.
Yeah. And as you saw in the, if you saw in the demonstration, Christina showed how quickly the whole homepage could be translated just in a matter of seconds, and the same happens basically in the live chat session. This translation happens in real time, so there is no need to send somewhere this text or some other how to translate. It can happen in this one chatbot platform, what employee sees.
Yes, indeed. And Lydia sent us another question asking, do you use grammar rules as well for training? So these latest AI, deep learning and neural network technologies, they don't concentrate on grammar rules specifically, because they are overarching technologies looking into grammar, linguistics, fluency, and the content of the text as such. So if we look at previous generations, so the previous generation was a rule-based machine. No, previous was statistical. The one before was rule-based. Sorry, it was so long ago that I started mixing up them. So rule-based, of course, it was putting grammatical rules in the center and translating everything based on grammar. But it's not that you can achieve the highest accuracy just by focusing on grammar rules, because there are always many exceptions and everything. So I'm not linguist myself, but this is grammar rule-based technology was many years ago. So these days it's past, and of course those evolution stages, grammar rule-based translation, statistical translation, and everything has enabled that these days we have got to this level of technology, AI, deep learning, and neural networks that we are using now to really be able to provide the latest and most accurate translation technologies.
Okay, thank you. I think the last one we have here, so there is a quick question about presentation. Yeah, you will definitely receive it from organizers, and then we'll able to read and contact us afterwards. So the last one is about the potential, as I understood so far, potential scope of AI in compliance functions, and how this AI differs from RPA, robotic process automation, and if we have used some of the chatbots in Romania shared service centers for accounting or reporting processes. Well, right now we haven't used any chatbot solution specifically in Romania in shared service centers, but we do have some chatbot that do basically, we have already made these instant recognitions and a database of knowledge for accounting or reporting processes, which means in this scope, we usually go with pilot project. Well, we define some 3, 5 or more topics we're gonna cover, and as well we define when or in the first phase or second phase there will be integration with internal systems, third-party databases, so we could make this process automated in the very beginning, which means for me as a customer, I can report these problems in the chatbot with help of authorization and sending some this issue or inquiry to the company. So basically, yeah, in very general speaking, the scope is with starting from the pilot project and ending to the full project, where we can implement all these technologies we mentioned already in our presentation.
So maybe another question or two coming into your mind, you have still chance to ask. And of course, you can always send us through any questions which might come up at a later stage, because this is a complex subject, needs to be digested and thought of. So if any thoughts, questions or comments come up,
we have one. We still have one announced. Many times live interaction is required to speak to a customer support officer, but IE driven leads to, you already answered that. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I see a lot of thank you and related to that, but yeah, to discuss in more details and to take into account the specific industry or sector of the company where it's operating and specific customers and everything else, we usually discuss in these private meetings to make the potential scope of the project and introduce our technology and how they're capable to help in these multilingual challenges as well, to in very beginning make all this process and organizational thing very simple and easy to adapt to the companies. So you are more than welcome to contact us later if there is no questions right now. Christina, maybe something you want to add?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I very much hope it was useful and informative to you, and hopefully can also be of value to your business services operations in the future and help you to do your job and deliver better services